All right, so I mentioned yesterday's holiday, and I told you to pick somebody or something that you love more than anything else in the world. And then I said, understand this, that one thing that you picked or that one person you picked, you do not love that person or that thing half as much as Lorraine Gross loves the Lombardi Trophy. You just don't. And there's no need even to fight me on this. Hear me out. I mean, I know you think that you love your wife or your girlfriend or your sweetheart or your significant other or your car or your watch or your phone. You don't. Not half as much as she loves that trophy. She is from Fort Myers. Geographically, that makes her Florida woman. Keep that in mind. We've talked about Florida man. We've talked about Florida woman. We've talked about Florida family. We've talked everything Florida. She's also, though, the daughter of the man who made the first Lombardi Trophy back in '67. And her dad did that for Tiffany and Company in '67. That guy's name is Greg Gross. Greg Gross retired from Tiffany in '94, some 26 years ago. But his daughter Lorraine has not retired from taking an obscene amount of pride in Pop's work. And Lorraine is all sorts of big mad and butthurt that Tom Brady disgraced her father by hucking the Lombardi from one boat to another at the parade on Wednesday. First things first, that trophy was not thrown as if it were, quote, a real football. Lorraine, watch the tape. It's not like Brady had his hand across the laces, was going through his progressions and spinning tight spirals with it. Dude pitched it to a professional receiver who caught it perfectly. As for that part about the trophy being disgraced, I guess it depends on your definition of disgraced. Some people could see it as the highest honor ever, that the GOAT literally completed a pass with it, or that it was the first Lombardi to ever go airborne, boat to boat, BTB. Most of the world looked at that and thought, damn, Brady has never been cooler. That's like literally the coolest thing that guy's ever done. That is so badass. I mean, like, it's funny, it's crazy, it's cool. That is awesome. But Lorraine thinks it's disrespecting and disparaging and disgracing a trophy. Yeah, if you think that, wait till you hear what hockey players have done to the Stanley Cup. And believe me, nobody respects anything more than NHLers respect that cup. Everybody who's ever won that cup has their name on that cup. Do you have any idea what they've done to that cup besides getting their name on it? Think about it. If your old man had designed that thing, which I'm not even sure he did. I mean, I think he's responsible for sculpting it. I'm not sure he's actually responsible for the design. I've seen multiple reports. Either way, if your old man was responsible for the Stanley Cup and he knew what guys have done to the Stanley Cup inside of the Stanley Cup, man, he would have stroked out from shock and anger long, long ago. Moving on. You didn't sleep for 2 nights because Tom Brady. And let me tell you something, Lorraine. Believe me, I think that trophy means as much to him as it does to you. And I know that sounds impossible because nothing means as much to anybody as that trophy apparently means to you. Trust me. Do you have any idea how hard Brady worked to get his hands around that trophy? Way harder than your old man did in designing and constructing it. But you didn't sleep for 2 nights because Brady completed a 5-yard pitch, like a shovel pass practically, with a Lombardi. With the utmost respect, Lorraine, you may need some help. There are lots of folks that you can speak to rather than running up on the media with this extremely lame and unhealthy obsession and pride with something you literally had nothing to do with. I mean, you went from Wednesday to Friday without sleeping over this. Like, I really hope that nobody told you or showed you what Gronk did back in the day when he was bunting with it and acted like it was a baseball bat. Man, you'd be an insomniac. There wouldn't be enough Ambien in the world to knock you out. You imagine tossing and turning and waking up with the cold sweats because the image of Brady underhanding the Lombardi was that troublesome to you. Lorraine, you need to take a more Bob Manfred type approach to the entire thing and just see it for what it is. A piece of metal. Pour one out for the so-called silversmiths. Hey, yo, Silversmith Nation, do not at me. In fact, you know what? Go ahead. I don't really care. Hey, while we're at it, why don't we pour one out for the blacksmiths and the seamstresses and the milkmaids and the innkeepers and the stonecutters and the iron forgers and the butter churners and the woodworkers. How about all them? Are you serious about that? Greg Gross's fellow silversmithers are being dragged into this. Silversmith Nation is bent? What are they going to do? Forge a bunch of colonial silver spoons and throw them at Brady? Nah, that'd be way too disrespectful of the art and the craft and the trade. Apparently, you can't go throwing anything that a silversmith makes. It would be far too disrespectful. Why don't we wrap this whole thing up? Let me tell you something. If I had a buck for every time a silversmith's daughter demanded an apology from an NFL quarterback, man, you know how many bucks I'd have? One. I'm sorry, but this is just bat bleep whack. It's funny, but it's whack as hell. I'm sorry. I really am. And by sorry, I mean I'm not sorry at all. Asking for an apology on behalf of your dad and Silversmith Nation and the fans is absurd. Nobody wants one, Lorraine. You're the only one demanding an apology. Silversmith Nation was probably honored that Tom Brady threw that trophy. And the only thing better would have been if one of them caught it. Like, I've been on the set of the NFL Today on CBS, and every once in a while, somebody breaks out of football. And every once in a while, one of the two quarterbacks on the set, Boomer and Phil Simms, will throw the football to one of the staffers. And if the staffer catches it, it's like they had a great day. In fact, Phil Simms kind of tested me one day. He threw it across the set to me because he wanted me to drop it. They all wanted me to drop it. Man, I held on to that thing like it was a newborn baby. Hell yeah, I brought that thing in, and I felt good. Trust me, Silversmith Nation is proud that Brady is spinning that bad boy boat to boat. You want to be. The only thing better would have been if they had been on the receiving end of it. Trust me. You seem like you're the only one looking for an apology, doing news interviews, losing sleep. And, frankly, I hate to hear that. Sleep is really important. Really important. Again, to quote Jorge Masvidal, super necessary. Let me help you out here, El. This should exorcise those demons that you've been battling since Wednesday. The Lombardi Trophy apparently is the result of a cocktail napkin sketch from a lunch back in '66. A lunch that, according to some reports, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will, your dad wasn't even at. We're not even sure he designed it. He was handed a napkin with a blueprint, according to one report I saw.